Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Duffy, and I'm here hosting the Malden Zone yet again. Special thanks to Fran Matuccio, the producer, who makes all of this happen. As many of you may know, I'm the Strategy and Business Development Officer for the City of Malden, so I'm here to help businesses in our city deal with any problems they may have, help with any expansion or permitting issues if they need to do some work in their store, and then I also do a lot of reach out to other businesses outside of Malden and try to get them to come to our city. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to highlight some of the really cool places we have in Malden so that you can perhaps get out there and do some shopping there. Before we begin though, I would like to give a special shout out. Today's Boston Globe, the G section with Julia Child there on the cover. We had a great piece about Abbiata Restaurant, fine dining here in Malden. So today on August 15th, they got their piece in the Sun. It was an exceptionally well-written article, but congratulations to Abbiata for what they're doing here in the square, and welcome to part of our restaurant scene. Tonight's show, we've got some great guests. We have Art Carl Jewelry. We have Boris and Michael from there. Art Carl's been in Malden Square for a long time, but these gentlemen have actually purchased it probably about 8-10 years ago. 12 years ago, thank you. And they've done some really amazing things with the store, so we have some video, but it's worth it for you to come down and check it out yourself. Then we also have Hobby Bunker here. Matt Murphy from Hobby Bunker. Hobby Bunker's a tremendous store down on Exchange Street. It has to be seen to be believed. We have 10 minutes with Matt, but that won't be enough because of the amount of stuff they have in that store. Then we also have Alan from New England Comics. You'll recognize him when you go by the store, but that's a great little treasure we have here in Malden, so we're going to have him come on and talk about what they do. And then, of course, the granddaddy of all the cool Malden stores, Charles Rowe. We don't have a guest here tonight because of scheduling conflicts, but thanks to Frank Matuccio and his intrepid cameraman, we have some great video to show you of that store. So I know a lot of us have probably been in there to check it out, but we always have new residents moving in. If you haven't been down to Charles Rowe, wait till you see what we have there. And then we're going to finish up the show with this big picture behind me, which is the Pleasant Street reconstruction. I have Chris Caesar from the Malden Pats joining me, asking some of the questions that have been bouncing around on the blogs. I can explain the progress and the process for doing the Pleasant Street reconstruction, and then we'll just throw out any general business questions. So that's the show we have for you tonight. I think we're going to get off and running. But Frank, I think what I'd like to do is throw up the weight mount graphic, because this is a great thing we've got going on in Malden. Special thanks to Councilor Jim Nestor, who has shepherded this project. It's now underway. And while you're looking at that great graphic, it is the highest point in Malden, so the views from the top of Waits Mound are unbelievable. The first phase of work began in late January, and it's removing a lot of the invasive plant species that are up there. We actually had a lot of like poison ivy and things called devil's walking stick and bullbriar. You don't want that stuff up there, so we cleared that out. We're doing some pressure washings and cleaning up some of the debris that's up there, but it's actually going to be a beautiful spot up there. You'll see that there's actually an adventure playground. Frank, let's keep that graphic up there so people can see it. There's an adventure playground up there for the kids, an improved basketball court, obviously accessible parking, and a newly graded paved loop walk. So if you look up there, you can actually see a circular path that goes around the whole event. That's going to be a great spot to go up there, park, and then walk around there. Your kids can play on the playground, or so your older kids can play on the basketball court while you take in some amazing views of Malden. That is called the Tower Ring area. Plus, we'll put in some new plantings, some new shade trees, and actually some stuff that could support wildlife habitat. So that is an excellent project that's happening up in Ward 4. Again, special kudos to Councilor Jim Nestor and Mayor Christensen and all the councilors and Mayor Howard from before. But Jim Nestor's really been the one who's been shepherding this project through. I'm actually quite proud of Jim for getting this done. It's going to be a jewel in Malden, so congratulations to him. So we are moving right into the show. What I'd like to do, Frank, is I'd like to bring out our first two guests. So, Boris and Michael, slide around the back here. Pull up. Here's your microphone here. You keep it
Nice to see you too. Thanks for having us on.
And just clip it on that side. It's called the talking side. So you don't now this is the video he shot, so you get to watch this for a bit.
Welcome to Art Carl Jewelers AC Salon. We've been serving great Malden and the surroundings for 12 years, and the store has been here for more than 6 decades. Our major goal is to serve people in need, plus a lot of different things. I have a manager who is a son of mine. He's going to explain everything to you guys.
How you doing? We, as pawnbrokers and buyers of specialty goods, do many different things. We specialize in everything from antiques and collectibles to jewelry items. My father has been a jeweler for some 20-odd years, so not only does he custom work, but he repairs just about anything right on the spot right here in the store. We specialize in everything from sports memorabilia to war memorabilia. We do things like musical instruments, we do apparel, we do collectibles, we really do anything. To be honest, this store is a safe haven for anything worth of value. And you're always more than welcome to come right through and show us what you have.
Jewelry repairs and jewelry designs many years ago. It's been at least 25 years that I do that, and when I found the opportunity to buy that particular store, which has been serving Malden for many years, being a pawn shop, it opens different aspects of my business. So pawning is one part of the business, which is we are fully licensed and bonded as pawnbrokers of Massachusetts. And me personally, I like antiques. This is my specialty. My son, being a manager, he brought many other ideas. And
now, as far as pawning or loaning, really the same virtue. Pawning is anybody can bring any certain amount of goods. A lot of times it being jewelry, however, not necessarily. And we will then evaluate and give you a price on it, and then you will be able to receive monetary value for it and then pay it off in the next upcoming few months. Buying is you can bring anything here. If it's worth anything of value, we will give you a fair price and we will then purchase it off of you. That can include any number of electronics, computers, TVs, apparel, musical instruments, etc.
Pretty great stuff. So I'm joined by Michael and Boris. Boris and Michael. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it's my pleasure. The other day when I had the chance to go through the store, I was really struck by how eclectic everything in your store is. And I saw that on the video there, we had some of the pieces, the Kiss mask really jumps out at you there.
Yeah.
What was the decision to move away from, primarily doing jewelry and really bringing in a lot of the other stuff?
I think with the times, it calls for it. I mean, essentially jewelry and gold itself is, as well everyone knows, jewelry and gold, very high in price. And because of it, limited sales out of it, to be quite honest. So that opens up the avenue of everything else. And one person's junk is another man's treasure. It's true and tried. That's the way it works. And that's why we really take everything in and hope to make, a little bit on.
I saw some stuff there, which I can see what you're thinking. At some point, someone was probably thinking, geez, this Laurel and Hardy figurine set that you have, that's junk. It's been on there forever. You get rid of it. And then you come in, they put it on your shelf, and I'm looking at it going, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So that would be somebody else, like a gift from my dad or something. That would be great.
Absolutely.
And I noticed that you have a lot of stuff like modern stuff like PlayStation 3 equipment, Guitar Hero, but then you also have some amazing antiques.
Yep.
You were telling me about a letter that President Lincoln had written. It was one of the reproductions of it, so it's a limited amount.
Originally, that letter, which the movie Saving Private Ryan was, got lost through the history. I have a very old copy of that letter, and it's not for sale, because to me it's American history, which I treasure and love absolutely. And anything which is with Malden too, as you saw, I have a drum which was made on Main Street in Malden. I have 1892 Undertaker's receipt from Malden, and a few other items which I love. And I really believe that history of the country we live in should be passed on through the generations. So that's why I love to do that.
Yeah, preservation of
absolutely.
Things of that nature, especially Malden, Medford, Melrose, etc. When we get those items, we love to display them, we love to take them in, but a lot of times we have a hard time parting with them.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a collection.
You know.
But that's why you have a store, so you're not
Sure,
filling up your house.
sure, of
right?
course, yeah, absolutely.
No, it was great to see all Malden stuff there, and you did have a lot of stuff from like World War One and World War Two, a
Yes,
lot of
we-
military memorabilia.
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
he's a huge buff on that. Yep,
I have a
definitely.
bayonet from Civil War. I have 1875 French bayonet, starting with the 1917 American bolo knife and ending up with Vietnam War knife. I just have that in a display. I don't sell that. I mean, I would love to, but I would love it to stay at the store too. It's I fell in love with everything what I acquired through the years, which is history, and it is hard for me to part with it.
Yeah, militaria is something that I wouldn't say it's newly acquired, but a lot of people, now that they see it because of the display, are starting to bring it through. And as they bring it through, we're starting to see older items. Civil War items all day long are just super interesting. We love to do it. It's his favorite thing to do.
Right.
Honestly, I mean, he can't say enough about it. So it's fantastic. It's great. Yeah.
Well, I had mentioned the PlayStation 3 stuff, like the Guitar Hero and the
Sure.
Rock Band, but you also have a lot of musical instruments there, and I would imagine
Tons.
that's kind of common with pawns, but you have some really quality stuff.
Yeah, Malden is really great with that because there's a lot of local bands in Malden and a lot of bands that are playing in restaurants at nighttime and as well now with the program right on Main Street and Pleasant
street
Street.
performer program,
Exactly. And because of it, sometimes people bring most of the times I'll say they loan on the guitars, but we have acquired some great guitars, some starter guitars. What do we have? We have a Martin acoustic. We have a Gibson Les
Fender.
Paul. So there's different ranges, different price ranges, and different quality to guitars. But yeah, definitely a lot of musical instruments.
Yeah, I saw that clarinet you had up there, and being
Yep,
a Benny
definitely.
Goodman aficionado,
Yeah,
that looked
yeah.
like an antique
Yeah,
clarinet,
it
so under
is.
glass.
Yep.
This is one of the old French made out of wood, not plastic ones.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
one of the professional ones. So
Yeah, really good stuff.
the time are not good. Not too many people can afford musical instruments, and sometimes people have to get rid of whatever just to get along with their lives. And what I believe, what we are serving Malden with economy is so hard right now. I wouldn't like to buy. I would rather give loan, and people would get it back without losing their heirlooms. But not every time it happens. So musical instruments, there is so many. That's why people they can buy it back.
Right.
Other things, it's very hard for me even to buy from them. I would rather offer a loan, and they would be able to get it back.
Now, you had mentioned heirlooms, and you do have an amazing amount of jewelry there, really good-looking stuff. Is a lot of that heirloom or estate jewelry, or is some of it new? Are you adding to your stock?
It is 50-50. Being a jeweler by myself, I design and can make anything, and there is a lot of new pieces over there which I made by myself through the years.
Custom work, I'd say.
And they're right there in the showcase. So it's
To add to that, I'd say it like this. Really, it's the jewelry that comes in, either estate or secondhand. From we select only the finest things, and then revitalize them. We polish them, we clean them, and make them
Like
so
settings
they
and
are
stuff, yeah.
exactly. So when even him and I have a difficult time saying, oh well, this is brand new and this was worn by someone at one time, because everything is made to brand new and sold as new item.
Gotcha.
also in whatever we are talking about is the pawn shop, one of the main venues which we do over there. And I would like to say thank you very much. We are working very close with our Malden police. Everything we buy or pawn goes on record with the police, Malden police, and things happen.
Right.
Sometimes it's not. Some items are.
So to speak, kosher.
It's, yeah, but the main idea is that Malden police knows about everything, and we eliminate anybody who has bad thoughts.
Right. No, that's what you got to do in a modern day pawn shop.
Yep.
So it's good to hear you doing that.
Comes with the job.
Yeah, it comes with the job if you want to do it right, and that's the way we do
Yeah.
it here in Malden. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it,
We
and
do.
it's good to have you on the show for that.
Yeah.
Now, before we jump off, one of the things that you had there that really caught my eye because I own one of them
All right.
is you have some great sports memorabilia.
All right.
And you actually have a lot of those Celtics jackets, of which I have one, which were
Okay.
not for sale. It's the championship jacket.
Oh, those
that's
are all
covered with banners.
Yo, yeah.
And you've got them.
Yeah,
I
we've
mean, there
got
was
we've
limited
got
amount.
there's got to be at least 10 of those in the store. Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox. Lacking on the Pats stuff. We're getting there. Season's coming up. We're
Right,
gonna get
right,
there.
right.
We'll get there. But yeah, we any apparel that we can get in that is brand new tagged, sure, we'll sell it all day long, and it's always at a discounted price. I mean, it's always at a
Right,
discounted
there are
price.
great prices. That's what I was saying.
And yeah, no, I love, I'm big sports, but I love all sports, and so anytime I can, it's a wonder half of that's not in my house. Let's just put it that way.
well, I have that one, and my wife tells me it's so gaudy because it's got all the championship banners
Sure.
on it, and I'm like, that's the point.
Right.
It can
Absolutely.
be gaudy. They've got
Right.
18
We have to
championships.
ask you
Right.
more.
Love to
We
do
have
that.
to-
Yeah.
All right, so before we go, let's tell
Sure.
everyone where you're located so they can come down and see for themselves how packed
Absolutely.
your store is with
Definitely.
cool stuff.
Definitely. We're at 126 Pleasant Street here in Malden, Mass. And we're right on the corner of Washington Street. I'm blanking right now.
Yep.
And yeah, we're open 10 to 5 every day, sometimes 10 to 6, and we're open on Saturdays 10 to 1 o'clock as well.
Superb.
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to get into the hobby bunker rolling,
Excellent.
but
Thank you so
guys
much for
coming
having
on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, thank
The
you, thank
pleasure's
you.
mine.
Pleasure
I'll
to
see you
talk to
around
you.
the square.
Thank you
Very
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Kevin.
All right, Frank, take it away. All right. Of course, Michael, this is Matt. He owns the Hobby Bunker.
Hi, I'm Matt Murphy. I'm the owner of Hobby Bunker Inc. here on 33 Exchange Street in Malden Square. We've been open since 1998. We're open to the public 7 days a week. We also have a website, hobbybunker.com, and we do all kinds of conventions all over the country. In the store here, our main focus is a few things. We call ourselves a hobby department store because we kind of cater to everybody. We have kind of high-end toy soldiers and military collectibles, model kits, car models, airplane models, tank models, pretty much everything that you used to have as a kid or what kids are into now. We also carry a huge gaming section, meaning we have collectible card games such as Magic cards. We have miniature games like Games Workshop. We also carry role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons and things that have been around for years and years. We also have an extensive board game section. We also pride ourselves in having a pretty big hobby supply section. As a lot of the hobby stores are dwindling, we try to keep a good supply of paints, tools, balsa wood, school project type things, scenery and whatnot. So, like I said, we're open 7 days a week. We're right in Malden Square. So come on by and visit us.
What kind of people buy these things? Like who?
What kind of people buy these things? We have
museums.
all ages. I mean, the kind of the high-end toy soldiers here. They're called toy soldiers, but they're not really toys anymore. I mean, we have mostly, the good portion of the collectors are adults, ages 30 to 70, or even, we do have kids that are interested in them. We also carry plastic toy soldiers, which can be painted or set up. You can set up battles for kids right up to adults who used to have plastic soldiers when they were a kid in the 50s and 60s, and now kind of, the baby boomers are kind of back into playing with their army men again. So. Same model kits, all ages, ages 8 to 80, I guess, and the games as well. We have things for beginners right up to we have middle-aged men playing games with teenagers here. We do have a big gaming area which is open up on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. So guys play have miniature battles, I guess, and roll dice and whatnot, and that's usually open for the public for people to come down and check it out as well. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That was good.
Outstanding. Well done, Frank. Well done. I am joined by Matt Murphy of the Hobby Bunker over on Exchange Street. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. I got to be honest. your store is my favorite store in Malden.
Well, that's great.
Even before I had kids. It's really amazing. I said you weren't here for it, but in the beginning of the show, I said you have to go to this store to see it, to believe it. There's just so much stuff in there that even 10 minutes with us, we can't cover everything that's there.
Right. We pack it in pretty good.
Now, you actually took this store over from your dad, right? It was originally his?
Right. My father used to have a similar type business on Exchange Street called Excalibur Hobbies. He was there from, I think, 1989 to 1998. And prior to that, he was in Mass Ave in Arlington since the mid-'70s. So I've basically been in the business my entire life. I don't really know anything else, to be honest with you.
It must have been great, though, growing up, having your dad being a collector
Yeah,
that, right?
Oh, yeah. I've always had the cool toys in the neighborhood, and now my kids do, too.
So that's what I was going to say. My kids do, too, because I shop at your place.
Right.
Now, when your dad was on Exchange Street itself, he was over where Tivoli's is now, right?
He was actually where the bistro is.
I'm sorry.
Well, prior it was
I
the
meant the
tanning
bistro.
salon and the bistro, so you kind of the two buildings there. So-
Right. Yeah, I remember going. I meant the bistro. I remember going there before, and it used to have the platform in the front with all the displays on it. It was really an impressive
Right, yeah,
piece.
and then go upstairs. They kind of go up the stairs, and there's toy soldiers up on the back. So.
Right, and then in kind of a fitting move, you moved from that location over to the old Jordan Marsh building into what was
Into the basement, which looks like a bunker, so that's
Hobby Bunker.
kind of where we came up with Hobby Bunker.
But it was also the toy department of.
It was,
Jordan
they had
Marsh,
the
right?
toy department, I think sporting goods and tools down there. So,
Excellent.
and a lot of the store fixes we have were there. We just moved them around a little bit, but a lot of the cabinets and things were there when we moved in. So.
Still fit for you, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love when I take, and I'm always bringing people down there because I'm just like, you got to see this store. We walk around, and I say that there's figurines from just about every human conflict that you can think of,
Right.
and they're right next to each other. So you'll have gladiators next to Zulu warriors, next to Jerry's from World War II or World War I. So it's really an amazing and eclectic collection.
Ancient up until modern day. We have modern figures from today,
Yep.
current soldiers, and we have them in all different sizes, from a 1/4 of an inch up to then your average toy soldier is about 54 millimeter to 60 millimeter, but then we have larger figures, more action figures for kids. So pretty much, we also kind of cater to, I guess, all types. We have the higher end miniatures, then we have
Right.
cheaper figures right down to so pretty much there's something there that everyone can afford or get into, because and we also have unpainted kits that you can paint yourself.
You can do yourself,
so
right. And your store is the place where you can go and get the balsa wood airplanes.
correct, we're one of the few guys that still sell the balsa wood airplanes. Most of the ones we sell are made by Gwillows, which is based out of Wakefield, and they've been there for a very long time. So.
I did not know that. We're not supposed
Yeah.
to plug outside of Malden.
Well,
but
they can't
we'll
buy.
let
You
that one
can't
go.
shop there, but that's where they make them actually.
Oh, I
so,
didn't realize
yeah.
that. Well, kudos to Wakefield. My favorite story about your store and how amazing your inventory is I was up at the counter and you had a really nice paratrooper. And it's kind of a hard shell, so it looks like the canopy's open and it dangles down and it's a weighted figure, so it looks like he's in mid-flight. And my dad was a paratrooper, and I looked at that and I said, wow, that's great. I'd love to get that for him. I said, what kind of paratrooper is it? I think it was Evan who was working there.
Right.
He was a great employee for you. And he said, oh, that's a British paratrooper. And I said, oh, that's too bad. My dad was 82nd Airborne. He said, oh, I got one in the back. And he went and got
Right,
me an
right.
82nd Airborne one.
Yeah, those pretty popular guys would always want to get them and hang them in their kids' rooms and
That's
things
it.
like that.
My
so.
son got one and my dad got one, so they each have one. But just an amazing stuff. So more than just the figurines, you have a lot of the books that are like Dungeons and Dragons, and then all of the spin-off
Right, we
games,
kind
role-playing.
of call I like to call us a hobby department store, where we kind of have a third of it's broken up into a game store. So if you're role-playing games, collectible card games, miniature games, so games like Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer, Magic the Gathering, and then we also have a big selection of board games.
Yes,
All covering all kinds of areas. We also have big into historical wargaming, which very few stores around here are.
You mean like Axis and Allies and stuff
Well,
like that?
Axis
or-
and Allies, but getting more into Civil War battles and the big historical gaming days on Saturdays. We have a big group of guys that play all day.
That's worth mentioning because you have a massive group of people that
Right.
come in, and
And
then
they-
you have a couple.
Yeah, Saturdays we have a few different groups of guys, historicals, sci-fi, fantasy type games, and then actually on Sundays we have a huge group of dozens of guys that come down and play Warhammer 40,000, which is miniatures game, has rules when you paint your figures. So it's a crossover. A lot of the stuff we sell a kind of a crossover. Gaming stuff. It's also modeling some of it.
Right.
And then actually on this Saturday, August 18th, we're having our third annual Hobby Bunker Games Day, where we have guys coming from probably all the New England states. Last year we had about 50 guys come down, and we basically play games people play games from 10 in the morning, and we keep the store open until about 9, 10 o'clock at night, as people the crowd thins over the course of time, but
right.
It's kind of like instead of going to a convention, we kind of bring the convention to the store. So I don't have to pack up any merchandise and drive anywhere, and guys can relax, and they don't have to. They can kind of come and go all day. So,
right. Now I got a bunch of other questions for you that I want to hit you, but I want to keep working through your inventory. You mentioned modeling.
The middle third of the store is kind of our hobby store, where we have your traditional model kits, car models, tank models, aircraft, balsa planes. Then we have we consider a pretty big paint display, where we have about a dozen different paint lines from different manufacturers. We also have a big tool section. So then you have the modeling, so where a lot of those items cross over into the gaming section. And then the other third of the store is primarily toy soldiers, hand-painted metal toy soldiers.
You have the landscape pieces
right.
for like trains.
Right. We don't carry trains, and there's a reason for that. Okay. You'll get into that later.
Right. Because Charles Rowe comes on.
They carry trains, and we don't. Pretty much the only other thing we don't carry is comic books, because we have New England comic books. So if you come to Malden, you have all your bases covered for hobby items.
And as part of the Magical Mystery Tour, I take a lot of my visitors in around on, because you cover all those bases.
And then we also have a wide range of odds and ends in the back and scattered through the store. We buy all kinds of collections, and we also have a big military book section too, and magazine section for gaming model kits and toy soldiers.
Right. Now some of the military books you have, those are for people who really want to ensure accuracy with what they're doing, right? Because that breaks down to real details.
Right. Some people are interested in certain certain time periods: World War I, World War II, Civil War. Or some guys like to break it down and into certain battles like Gettysburg or D-Day or something. So, some guys like to collect miniatures from different uniforms, different periods, etc. But some guys just want to literally set up the Battle of Gettysburg in metal figures, or even 1/72 scale figures, which are about a half-inch tall. So
that's amazing. No, that's great stuff.
I guess.
Yeah, there really is. So, but
my problem is was hooked on all of it when I was little, and I like everything in all shapes and sizes.
How big's the store?
The store itself is, I think it's like 6,000 or 7,000 square feet. We also have a warehouse, which is basically doubles the size of the store.
Right, it's a massive store.
And then we also have several hundred square feet for the gaming section. Where we have 10 or 12 tables where people play the games.
And you do a lot of your business on the internet as well, right?
We do, yeah. We our main source of our, business right now, we do a mail order. We ship all over the world. I think I don't think there's many countries we haven't shipped package to. I actually brought about a dozen packages to the post office today in Hungary, Israel, Russia, United Kingdom, Brazil. We just send them all over the place,
Superb. All right, so one last time, tell everyone where you're located and your hours, and
we are 33 Exchange Street on Malden Square. Basically, we're in the basement of where the CVS is in the square, and across from the big parking garage, and just a short walk from Malden Station. We are open 7 days a week, 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday. We're open until 8 on Thursdays, where we also have gaming on Thursday nights, and we're also open Sundays 12 to 5. So there's no excuse why you can't come and see us. We're open as often as the big department stores are. So
that's true. And every time I go in there, if you're not there, Evan's there. So between the two of you, you got it covered.
Right. We also have action figures and a few odds and ends and things like that you would find.
Yeah, you had lots of great little stuff that I bought my kids, like the fantasy figures with the princesses and the dragons and that stuff.
And we also have a big selection of terrain and different things and figures for school projects.
And you got some Legos, not Legos, but
we have Lego-like figures, right? Yes.
Right, so that's a whole new thing you got going on. And then the final thing, this is how big the store is. It keeps coming to mind. You've got a pretty good movie selection.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of current, new. Mostly, war movies and documentaries, things that you're not going to find at the big stores. And then we also buy collections, so we end up getting old VHS tapes and DVDs and things like that too.
So outstanding. All right, well, Frank is going to throw on the New England Comics roll-in, but before he does that, let me thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll see you in the store. Thank you, Matt. Go. As we leave that image of the X Factor, that's really what tonight's show is about. The cool stores in Malden, which is an X Factor for people who come to shop here. From the Incredible Spider-Man to the Incredible Alan Vickers. Get some train music going. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. The Incredible Alan Vickers. Alan, thanks for coming on tonight.
Pleasure to be here.
New England Comics. I mean, it's right there in the heart of the square. Everybody knows it. It's a terrific location. Tell me about it.
Well, the company's been around since early 80s. I want to say 80, 81. We've been located in Malden, this particular branch, for about 25 years now.
Wow.
Originally, beginning of Pleasant Street in the CVS block. Moved up here, further up Pleasant. I'm going to say it's been about 10 to 12 years now. Started out by a group of guys that were just into collecting comics. They used to hang out at shows, encountered each other all the time. Thought about the idea of, you know, what if we did some mail order? Hey, what if we had a storefront? And took off from there, and they've been strong ever since.
No, it's really an amazing store, and I'm always amazed when I walk in there, and there's always a good number of people in there. Some days it's packed. And then I remember it's Wednesdays.
Yeah, there
the
you
new
go.
release Wednesday.
Today was
right?
my busy day. You see people you won't see except once a week. They'll come in, and the place it's like night clubbing. You've got a crowd in there, and they're talking about everything and hanging out, and it's like the friend that they see once a week. You know, sometimes I feel like a bartender in there, and they're, you know, hey, how you been? Oh, great. Let me tell you about this. Oh yeah, hey, how's your wife? You know, that kind of thing. And it's there from opening to closing. I just locked up now. Headed right here, and it was like, you know, herding kittens to get them out the door to go, look, guys, I gotta go.
It really is a great atmosphere in there.
It's fun in there, yeah.
Yeah, all the guys are the people that go in there. It is a fun crowd, and you hear some great conversations about some amazing things, you know?
Yeah, I feel people that come in, oh, this is my friend Dave. He knows nothing about comics, and I look at their faces, and they go, Where? What are they talking about? I don't know these names or places.
Right, but I've always enjoyed coming in there, and I was a comic book collector when I was a kid, and I inherited a lot.
Sure.
So I've got some ones that go way back there. They're all dog-eared and tattered,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're not worth anything, but they're great reads. And when it was Jim running it, and now with you, I could bring up really any of these obscure characters, and you guys were always right on it. Oh, yeah, he was part of this world, and you know what happened to him? It was just great to hear all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that is part of it. I mean, they're their own little universes. Every publisher has their own universe. And it's not just, Batman will never meet Spider-Man. Well, it has happened, but, it's this company and that company, and they build upon these universes, and they have planets and casts of characters, and they grow every year. I mean, you figure some of these continuities, some of these storylines, been going on since 1938, 1939, and they don't stop.
And there's some
They
very
just keep
talented people writing and drawing for them.
Yeah.
Now, more than just comics, although the comics are great, you also have a lot of the graphic novels. I'm a dad, but even when I was a kid, my parents were like, hey, as long as you're reading.
Yeah.
So getting into that stuff, I'm always putting it into my kids' hands. We just bought some the other day. You find that to be a big draw for you as well, the graphic novels?
Yeah. Years ago, when I wasn't even working in this retail business, I knew a family that had emigrated to the United States from Saudi Arabia. First thing they had done when they got here was their parents gave them comic books because they knew, well, these are fun, and two, the kids were going to immerse themselves in English. And I didn't know they were not native-born American because their language, the command of it was that much. And it's one of the nice things about comics is because it's really illustrated science fiction at its core.
Right.
You're throwing out, maybe made-up science, but it's always based on some real science. There are kids that are, 9 years old that hear the word laser, and you go, I didn't even know that word till I was 20, that kind of thing.
Or they get the idea of alternate universes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the things that, kids are already learning about quantum physics 20 years before they ever walk by MIT, never mind go to it.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff to be said. And now, of course, as I said, after 40, 50 years of continuity, a lot of it, they diversify. There are mystery comics. There are, science fiction. Some of them are just dramas set in the real world without any single element of fantasy. I mean, there's something out there for you. Walk into a Barnes & Noble, and there's a book for somebody. You walk into any comic shop, preferably mine,
right,
and there's something for everybody.
No, there really is. In fact, my son, who's about to start kindergarten, just kind of getting started on reading, the reading series 1, 2 for your level.
Sure.
We went and we bought a 12 pack of Superman stories, which he loves Superman, and so now he's looking through it and he's looking at the pictures, but the sight words are there. It's level 1, and so when he heads into kindergarten, because of Superman, his love of that, he's going to be that much further ahead.
And that's it. There's making reading a chore. I've always felt, that's such a mistake because, educating your children, they should think that this is something fun. And yeah, you tie it into Superman, Spider-Man, any of that. They just want more of it. They think they're getting more Spider-Man, but haha, I've just taught you.
Right, you're reading. You may not realize it, but you're doing homework right there.
Exactly.
And you also have a lot up in front, some really reasonably priced, or actually better than reasonably priced, some really inexpensive comics.
We do.
So anybody who's interested in putting a comic in a kid's hand, or even picking one up for themselves, you drop $1, you can get like 5 or 10 of them.
It's a great way to start. One of the things I like to promote about it is we're in a recession. The economy is shaky right now, and a parent that's walking in, and when I was a kid, they were 25 cents. My dad didn't. Oh yeah, you can have that. Flip the coin out. Now they're pricey. They're a pricey item because they're on better paper. They are better produced. It's a higher end product. Hard to get a kid involved, but if you want to get a kid reading, hey, we got these. Yeah, they're used, they're banged up, but jump in. It's a great way to start. It's a sampler for just discovering reading, never mind comic collecting.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not a chore, it's fun. And the kids don't even realize that
it should always be about fun. Yeah.
Now, some of the other stuff that you have in there, because this is hard to find stuff, you have some great T-shirts and stuff.
Sure.
I know you've got some Green Lantern stuff in there. I remember when Thor came out with his movie. You have a lot of stuff. So if you're looking for that hard-to-find T-shirt around Halloween time, we're not far from that. You're a great place to run to.
Yeah, Halloween, we sell more of those the Superman shirts. People are, I can make this into, I'm friendly with a woman, and she will buy the oversized Superman or the Captain Marvel shirts and then tailor them so that they become the skirts and the dresses that like Mary Marvel or Supergirl wears. And they look great when she's done. And she just custom makes these things. 2 years ago, when the Green Lantern book was really huge because of the red lanterns and orange lanterns, all these other concepts they were introducing, apparently the big club scene was all about the Green Lantern logos.
Oh, nice.
And I could not keep those on the rack. And at first I was like, wow, it's a really popular story. And I had a guy going, yeah, I'm going down to Lansdowne Street tomorrow night, and I got to have me that orange logo. And I, really? Wow, you know, this is far more expansive than I ever thought it was.
Right. Well, you mentioned the movie tie-ins, and obviously
Sure.
with Joss Whedon's The Avengers,
Yeah,
and, you know,
big hit.
Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, all those.
Yeah.
There must be a great bump in business
Yeah,
for you when
there
those
is.
come out.
And years ago, it wasn't true. The funniest thing was the movie came out, and the comics were basically unaffected. They were two separate things. Now the movies are better. They have good actors, big production values,
Great writing.
better marketing, good writing. The stories are just captivating. And now suddenly parents are seeing these things and saying, my kid should read these. These are interesting.
Right.
Where people that hadn't read them in 20 years go, they made a movie, and wow, and who was that guy? I got to find out. And they're all coming in. I'll tell you, a few years ago, the Watchmen movie.
Right.
The Watchmen came out in 1986, I believe, its original publication date. We had a trailer come out with, I want to say it was Dark Knight, a year before the film launched. And that trailer told you nothing about the story. It was just this staccato imagery firing at you of what was that and who is this and what are they doing. That graphic novel, which had been out for 15 years at that time, if
Right.
not more, we couldn't keep it on the shelves.
Just took off.
People were stunned, but this is a comic?
Right.
I need to see this.
Right.
And they come in, and you know, you're glad. Well, if you like that, same guy wrote this, and suddenly, you know, boom, wow, the movies are affecting our sales in a good way. And what's so nice about it is nobody's coming in and going, man, did you see that latest? Is that terrible or what?
Right. They're delivering on the movie side.
They're coming and vibrating, going, did you see Batman? Yeah, calm down, we did. We're all pleased. Shh, shh. It's okay. You're with company. You know.
Right. You're
So
among
yeah,
friends.
it's nice to have that. I went to art school
Okay.
and dealt a lot with multimedia, you know, painting and printing and you know, digital and all of that. And it's like with comics, it's become this source for multimedia ideas, because we have the movie, we have the printed page, online comics, you know, packaging even is starting to reflect it. The comic book fonts they use for the titles, you're seeing on cookie boxes and things now.
Right.
It's like everywhere you go, you're inundated with it, and in a good way.
No, absolutely. And so 25 years here in Malden?
Yeah, I'm going to say if not there, we're coming up on it very soon.
That's amazing. And it's terrific news because it just shows that Malden has the customer base for this. And like you said, Matt had said earlier with Hobby Bunker and with you, I'm sure the Orange Line helps.
Yeah.
People come out to Malden for
Yeah.
this, and they get, while they're here, who knows how else it spills over.
Yeah.
But you're a great draw for Malden. And I think I'm most excited for you because you've taken the plunge and now you're a homeowner in Malden.
After 23 years of living in town, or
That's
22
awesome.
maybe, yeah, my wife and I recently decided, you know, apartment living, okay, we're done.
There you go.
Time for
you
the
bought a
house.
home in Malden, and
Yep.
so now you're all
Yep.
set. You're a true Malden.
Moving in the next couple of weeks, and then I'm going to be darkening your doorstep.
There you go. All right, so New England Comics is located right on Pleasant Street,
Yes.
right next to the Pleasant Street lot,
Yep.
pretty much across from Sparks.
Yep.
Everyone knows where Sparks has been here
Yeah.
for 100 years as
Yeah,
well.
I've used it as a landmark on the phone for years.
There you go. So people should come down and check out your store because it's
Most
chock full
definitely.
of great stuff.
Please.
All right, Frank's going to run with the Charles Rowe, but before he does, Alan, thank you so much,
Hey.
and congratulations again.
Great for being here.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you, Frank.
Here she comes, hey look at her roll. There she flies, eating that coal. Watch her fly, she's a hook the ring. Dallows bound, 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 if I've all made. Well, a train of love is coming, big black wheels are humming. Well, here and there and everywhere, happy hearts are humming. Train man, tell me, baby, ain't you got my baby? Well, every so often everybody's baby gets yours wrong, but everybody, baby, but mine's coming home. Hand me down my walking cane, hand me down my walking cane.
Charles Rowe, as I said before, the granddaddy of all the cool stores here in Malden. And I was just talking with Chris Caesar of the Malden Patch, and he has not yet been to Charles Rowe.
I feel very bad about it.
You should.
I do feel very bad about it.
You should. Now, you may not have known this, but a rumor out there, and I'm 99% sure this is true, whenever Neil Young comes to Boston and plays, he makes a special trip out to Charles Rowe.
Is he a train freak? Or?
My understanding is that he has some children who have disabilities, and they share the experience of training. And, you know, Charles Rowe, the largest train store in America, so he comes here, gets the stuff, and I can imagine the type of display that Neil has in his house. But Charles Rowe has a pretty nice one up on his second floor. So, and Frank Matuccio's nodding over there. I can tell he's been there many a time, so. Oh, he had some old video of it. Well, Charles Rowe, it's over on Eastern Ave. Now that the Smiley Buick is down, because of the charter school, they're putting a field right in front. It's very visible from Route 60. So I think a lot of people couldn't really see it before, didn't know where it was. Now it's very obvious, and it's a beautiful building, so everyone should get out there and check it out. All right, I'm joined by Chris Caesar, as I had said, from the Malden Patch. We had a little excitement today in Malden Square,
actually, yes.
And you got some great video from that.
Yeah,
That's
thank you for that.
Good job.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
So that was good work. So it ended up being a manhole explosion?
They're still investigating what it was exactly.
Okay.
They said it wasn't electrical. They said that there was no equipment damage and there was no service disrupted. So it's kind of a mystery still at this point.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
That was my concern because it was right outside of All Seasons, just before, you know, maybe 10:30 or so, as lunch was getting warmed up. So I ran down and there were no service disruptions. Everybody was good. So it's a little bit of a mystery, but you know, National Grid will stay on that to get it done. So, well, I asked you to come on because obviously some people have seen in Pleasant Street that we have some major reconstruction that has begun. We've been hearing about this for a long time now because this is actually an earmark from 2004, thanks to Congressman Markey. But this work has actually begun. And up on the city's website, the Mayor's Information Center, we have all of these graphics. I've got a big one behind me. Fran Matuccio is going to, you know, that one's on camera, Frank, right?
Yep.
All right. Fran's going to get a camera and help us kind of walk through it. I tried to get a PDF so that we could overlay the graphic for the viewers at home. It didn't work, so our apologies. So we have this one, which is the one that I take out to people to show, but it's laminated, so the lights are a little tough.
Do you want to bring up the Pleasant Street?
That graphic didn't work, remember? We have the rendering, which is the other end, but I want to show people this one if we can.
So what I'll do is I'm going to go to you.
Great.
And then as you get up, I'll move with you.
I'm going to get up.
Because one of my helpers didn't show up today.
All right. Well, we wing it here, so as he gets it ready. But some of what the end product will be is they'll do the repairs on the street, which has never been repaired, other than spot repairs, but not a comprehensive one. And then they'll grind it down so it will look like new and act like new. It'll actually make it a tougher surface, which I understand. They'll do some spot repairs on the sidewalks, but they're really focusing on the crosswalks. The Malden Square crosswalks are not ADA compliant. These ramps that'll come down will actually have the studded stops on the end of them, and then there'll be the nice rolled out, almost like brickwork across the street. So that'll be an improvement in safety. And then the big thing for us is we'll be getting the nice period lights, and we'll be getting a lot of trees. So when it's all said and done, it should be a very pleasant place for all of the people who are dining in our restaurants in Malden Square, Aviata, All Seasons, Exchange Street Bistro, all of them, and then enjoying the street performers. It's going to be a really nice atmosphere.
I saw that there were going to be some bike paths as well.
Yes, it's federal money, so whenever you use federal money, you have to put in a bike path.
I see.
But, you know, with the bike path that we're creating here in Malden, it's actually not too far from there, so if people jaunt over to the square for some of the restaurants, they have a lane that they can travel down.
Bike to the sea?
The Bike to the Sea path, right, which actually probably the closest point is over by the dockside on Ferry, because you'll be crossing right there over Salem by the high school. So it's a short jaunt up either Main Street, Ferry Street, or well, Ferry Street by the high school, and then you can reconnect with this. You know, and then hopefully this plugs into other bike paths, and then we're all doing well. All right, you ready, sir? I'm ready. All right. If you can, I won't get up to keep you here. Yep, we're down this end. Okay, to orient yourself, this is all of Pleasant Street. This part down here is the Government Center building. That won't be touched for now, but it is in the plans for the mayor to take that down and reconnect this street. So where we are is actually right over here. That's right in the front of Government Center. That's where the bricks stop, or where the bricks start going towards Government Center. But this is the street. It'll be done in 3 segments. This is the first segment here. It'll go from Government Center over to Washington Street. And what they've done is they divided the street in half. So we went to great pains to make sure that there were always travel lanes for people to drive through to access the businesses at the end, and the sidewalks will always be open so that people can always access those businesses. They'll do half the street for now, and then they'll flip it over to the other side so that they can put the travel lane on the southbound side, and then put some of the parking back. So in about 16 days, some of the parking will return on this segment. This will go through to October, and then from Washington Street to Dartmouth Street is the next section. That is about 50 days. I actually have the number here. It is scheduled to be 42. So from October 1st up to about Thanksgiving will be this middle part here from Washington to Dartmouth. And then the final segment will be taken care of in the spring, which is Dartmouth to Main Street. And as I said, it should be a nice finished product when we're done. We're actually going to create some programs in the spring that bring people down so that they can see what we've done and get excited about what's coming on. All right, Frank, so let's go back to the two of us. Caesar, it was such a fun show because we had all the guests. We're going to be tight on time.
Now you have me. And
yeah, well, it's but here we go. Here's rapid fire. Hit me with anything you want to know about this, and I'll either make it up or tell you the truth.
Well, you know, how long is this going to take all said and done?
The expected completion date is June 13th, and at the request of the businesses in Malden Square, we actually put a penalty clause in there.
Oh,
so
really?
there is great incentive for this contractor to be done. Now, this is a federal funded project that the state is actually managing. So the city of Malden is not actually involved in this other than to say, can we make sure the businesses are okay? The MRA is working with the designers to get this done, but it's really a state-run project.
Okay. And what are some of the economic, I mean, obviously it'll make everything look a lot nicer down there, and it'll probably bring more people down, but maybe some of the more subtle ways it'll affect economic development.
Well, I mean, obviously having a nice place for people to go. We have the burgeoning restaurant scene, and because of the restaurant scene, we've created the street performer program, which the street performers are very happy about, and I've heard a lot of positive feedback from people who've been there. So it's created this ambiance now. If we bring in this nice, if you will, suburban setting, you know, in the downtown with all the trees, and there will be benches at the end of the project. We're going to hold off until the end on those. I don't think we're quite ready for benches yet, but we'll get there. So it'll be a nice spot to come down, have something to eat, sit, listen to street performers if it's one of the nights they're performing, or just enjoying all the foot traffic that's there.
And there's a lot of trees, and I saw like rain basins and stuff like that. What's going on green-wise?
Well, that was Mayor Christensen's input. He really insisted on this, and this was before he was mayor, when the design stage was coming in, to have a lot of the rain gardens in there. So like the runoff from Pleasant Street, it's actually going to run into a garden that will be fed by the runoff, so it's not wasted. Trying to keep water from being diverted into our gutters, because we do pay for that through the MWRA. So if you can actually funnel that into the tree pits that are there, you're actually watering the trees that way and not having to use city water to do that. And one of the things that I do want to correct is if you look in front of the Department of Education and over by Hugh O'Neill's and Cornucopia, that stretch there are raised tree planters, which actually take our nice wide sidewalks and shrinks them down. And they're a tripping hazard because they're not tall enough to be blatantly obvious, and they're just tall enough to trip over. So we're actually going to have those removed and the grates put in, which will widen the walking area, but also allow the water to flood in there and water the trees for us.
Huh. And just lost my question.
I know, I can do that to you. The blog. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
We're going to try and do a blog. Thanks to you. You had actually asked the readers of the Malden Patch to ask what types of businesses that you would like to see in Malden. So based upon everything that people put in, we have a whole bunch of businesses here and their contact information. We've been making our way through this and reaching out to them with what I call a pitch email saying this is what we have going on in Malden, because Malden is a very hot property right now. So this is the time to reach out to them and say, hey, if you're thinking of moving, we're much more affordable than Somerville and definitely much more affordable than Cambridge. We have all the other elements, public transportation, the restaurants. Come and consider us. But the blog is going to come out of that thanks to you.
And what are you going to do with the blog? Any plans? Or?
Well, yeah, what I'd like to do for starters, and maybe once a month we'll get this done, is just update people on some of the hardcore facts that I have to live with, you know, where we stand. I know I sent you the link the other day, but Boston Business Journal did an article on the leaders and laggards on the real estate market in Massachusetts, and Malden placed 6th. So when you're talking about Kendall and Cambridge and Back Bay and the Innovation District, these are places that people are snapping up spots, business and residential. And Malden was 6th in the state right now. I think people look at it and recognize it, that it's undervalued right here. Basically where we're going and where we're at right now, you buy in now, you're going to end up being happier down the road. So that's the type of thing I want to show people. And then based upon the business contact, some of these sites say, hey, email us if you want us to bring a store, if you want us to locate in your community. So I'll put that out there on the blog. And if this is a store that people want, maybe we can get some of your readers, a lot of your readers, to jump in and help me petition the store to come to Malden.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting idea, actually.
Yeah, well, you know, it's grassroots in a lot of ways, but that's what these stores want to know, that obviously it's good for business and everything, but there's a customer base.
Sure.
And there's nothing says customer base better than 1,000 emails saying, please bring your store here.
And have you heard any feedback from these people at all?
Yep, some of them were reaching out. They've come by and actually looked at some of the spots. The former Boston Market site, that is probably the top spot in Malden because it's a new construction, Class A. I think we talked about that one time. It's got parking right out in front. It's right on Route 60. So the number of people that are coming by and looking at that is actually pretty staggering. Combined Properties, who owns that property, is actually kind of like, what are you doing to us, Kevin? But they don't. Ultimately, they don't mind.
Well, it's going to be right by the stadium too, right?
Yep, when the ballpark goes in there, that's going to be good. But speaking of stadiums, you got McDonald's Stadium, which is wrapping up, kind of like we are. But that stadium's going to be done. And then you've got the charter school field that's going on, South Broadway Park. I mean, there's a lot of great investments coming. Oh, there we go. Goodbye, everybody. This was too fun to show. You said 1 minute, Frank. You said 1 minute.
And into the zone.
I joined on your Twitter, but I don't know how to Twitter.
Oh, is that who it was? I saw it. I got a new follower.
Yeah, we tweeted that.
What do? You just got to go to